No updates on anything other than our plants today. Been cutting grass all day. Had to finish up. Getting ready to be the 4th of July. I figure we get it cleaned up. This one's trying to do a little something. Tobacco still coming on. Looks like it might need some more fertilizer again. You gotta fertilize that stuff pretty heavy. I used to work at a feed store. You gotta get a pallet just for a small patch of that stuff. Anywho, here are the tomatoes. Looking beautiful. They're actually looking really, really nice. They're not very tall. Boy, they got the blooms on them. Stick for comparison. You know, that one, I think those are the beefsteak. Lots of blooms, no tomatoes yet that I can see. Marigolds. Ain't get no blooms on them yet. Here's our cherry tomatoes. They're still kind of tiny. I don't know, I was thinking about the Florida weave. Now I'm thinking about the, just driving a couple stakes in the ground and do some, yeah, marigolds looking really good. Boy, they look nice. Doing some stakes in the ground, just take some twine and just tie them up like that. And then when they get so high as the, stakes, just lean them over and just keep tying them up best you can. They've got all this cleaned up. Cleaned a bunch of that old stuff up. It's all cleaned up. They came out today and finally cleaned the brush up so I could finish mowing right down that way. I unhooked the AC on the car, but that's about all she wrote. Might get a full day in tomorrow, depends on how good I feel in the morning. Oh, I forgot, here's our marigolds that we planted around the trailer too. I put some mulch on them, but I don't think it's wanting to kill out the grass too easy. It's been raining pretty good. So, surprised the dogs, like Sissy, has to try to dig them up. Had to get out here and clean the AC up. Had a bunch of junk in it to where it wouldn't let the water come out and start dripping on the inside. You can see they took some brush and hit that a little bit. I had all that brushed out. And then we had a hornet's nest, and we've cleaned all this up, all the reflectors. And it needs another coat of paint. We've had to do a lot. You see, we got all that cleaned up. Them ain't gonna do much, so I'm gonna let them go to seed. Cleaned all the reflectors off this side too, put silicone. You know, it's got places where it needs some, definitely needs some paint on that. There's our little patchwork. Everything seems to be doing pretty good so far. Still got a little bit of a mess to clean up. They buried these plants with sawdust or wood chips. But, hopefully they'll pull through. Had to dig them out. They got beat up a little bit. Marigolds. You know, they ain't looking too hot. They probably need some more fertilizer. It's been wicked hot though. Marigolds coming up pretty strong. Ain't doing nothing yet though. We're going to keep pushing on it. All we really want out of these is some seeds. So those tobacco seeds wasn't too bad. A couple bucks. Every one of them just about came up. I just got to get to where I can pick them out one at a time and do them next year, and hopefully we can disc this up and we'll just put a big garden down that way. We ain't got no shade on that side of the hill, so. But they put some heavy wood chips in there, and they're going to keep dragging that out. You can see we got the car put back together last night. It's pizza night tonight, so that's all I'm really worried about, some good old pizza. And though Hank and Sissy have some food, we didn't make no more progress other than pulling them two vents off on the inside of the dash right there that were coming up. Got to looking, it's a lot to get it on out, but we're going to do it. You can see they cleaned out all that right there. They're going to go all the way down. They're probably going to come back this way some more too. And then they're going to take those trees out too. You know, they're just getting all the brush underneath them out. Then they'll be taking them trees. They'll probably be here till the end of August, I would imagine. I wouldn't be surprised if they ain't here till the end of August. Or might be a little bit longer than that. They've been here almost maybe a month or going on 2 months. It's been 4 weeks, maybe 5 weeks. And I can see, you know, they really haven't got all of that cut out. You know, that's within the last 4 or 5 days. They got this section here. So you say 4 or 5 days, 4 or 5 days. They work 6 days a week. But they've got this whole side done this way. And they're working on this. So I don't know. I'd say it'd be another, I don't know. That's pretty heavy brush right there. You know, if you say a week, 2 weeks, and whatever it takes to clean all those trees up. You know, they cut it up, they stack it up, they make a neat little mess out of it, and then, you know, they're blowing all the wood chips down through here. Be a good garden next year. Ain't gonna be doing nothing this year. I thought about getting some peppers. I can show you what we got going on here. It's not much. You know, they probably walked it all in and it ain't gonna do nothing. But starting right here where we had all of our other stuff, you know, I don't see nothing. I don't see nothing. You know, there might be a couple carrots in there or something. They look like carrot tops. But even that one pepper that did survive that you can see really good, you can see that it ain't doing much. But it's still coming along. We got our fingers crossed for something. I mean, if I got one pepper off of it, I'll be happy. But I got so sick, you know, I couldn't do nothing about it. And, you know, we got to get out of the way, man. We ain't doing nothing to stop these guys whatsoever. You know, the corn that got buried. I had some pumpkins down there on the lower end. I thought we were going to be okay, but they ain't going to make it past that. Once they get to dragging all that, you know, they buried the tobacco and all kinds of stuff into wood chips, so it ain't gonna do nothing. It was only like that big too, so whatever happened when it got real cold there and froze, I think it killed a lot of this stuff out. You know, there might be a stick of corn here and there. I don't even know what that is. That could just be weeds, who knows. It ain't gonna make it past getting them trees out, and we need those trees out. Look, they're right into the lines. You know, I appreciate the guys working hard. Man, it's been miserably hot. You know, so they need to be taking plenty of breaks. You know, they've got it all up in here. They'll be able to see the doghouse, and we'll have to get all that out. Probably pull the doghouse out. But I got out here and cut weeds all day. Got up there on the other side of the road, cut all that, make sure the holler looks really good, and blowed all the grass out. And we cut all this, and Possum came down here yesterday with the tractor and moved that wood that they had put right there where I cut grass up through there. So I thought he might want some of this. Even he said, you know, it's sycamore. It really ain't his flavor. He ain't gonna take the time to do nothing with it either. There was a log down there he thought about getting. I don't know if it'd even be worth it. It's only like 12 inches on one end. He's got to readjust the sawmill. It's cutting a little sloppy. But, you know, having blades and having hands to work it, it's a lot harder than a lot of people thought. But right here's some really nice timber, you know. That looks like maple to me. There's a couple little hardwoods down through there. Most of that looks like maple, though. I don't know. You have to look at the leaves. I don't think it's worth nothing. But that's our update, and that's a week, man. I don't want to do nothing else. You know what I'm saying? We just sit back and watch the tomatoes grow. Watch these dogs play with each other. We're going to get to cranking on the car a little bit more. Either next week, I might come on here for a full day. Tomorrow, whatever we can get done or whatever, and then we'll have to clean up. I'm not going to try to kill myself at 90 degrees out. I got to be careful. But we got the cherry picker fixed. I was able to scrape up a welder so we can put our blade on this one, and all it needs is a starter, and then I've got push buttons and some extra wire and stuff, and we can hopefully get this thing going. And it's missing a pin for the shifting linkage to the transmission. I don't know if we'll find a bolt or what, but the tires will pump up. The dogs did get the seat, but they were after something, so what it is what it is. I don't really care. And we was able to get this all cleaned up. And we did make a little progress on the car yesterday. But, you know, it is what it is. We're going to pull that front bumper off, pull the headlights out, strip everything down, pull the radiator, get the fluids drained on it. If not tomorrow, it'll be Monday. And then hopefully get the rest of that wiring harness out. It started getting aggravated, and, you know, it was wicked hot. You start late in the day, you really ain't got a lot of time for the daylight's gone. The bugs are so heavy, you can't turn the lights on, you can't breathe. They go right in your mouth. So, and I like to talk when I'm trying to do a live to kind of keep everybody entertained best we can. But, you can't even see through the dirtiness. You can't even. I was going to try to show you. I got that little top plate to where I got it moved out enough. You can see a little bit there. That out, and then two little pieces, and then I started looking. There's still a bunch of stuff on the bottom here we got to take loose. And then, you know, the gas pedal mounts up to the firewall, and brake booster. Still a lot to do, but we'll get it. I'm in no hurry. You know, I got that hood sitting back on there. We're getting it stripped out. And like I said, I'm going to blow it out too, because I can't do the mouse poo-poo. That's pretty nasty. Well, guys, I hope you guys are having a good weekend. You know, they got us cleaned up for today enough to do what we needed to do to finish up. And we're just going to call it good enough. Maybe come out here early this morning, in the morning, depending on how we feel. Crank on it a little bit, and hopefully all day. We might just stay tinkering all day. Need to get the antifreeze out, unhook the line for the AC. Some of them, like a Ford, you got one bolt in there, you just pull it apart and it'll stay charged up. As long as you don't try to push on it or nothing, it'll stay charged up. You ain't even got to recharge it. But we got to jack it up and pull all these inner fenders out, buttons, clips, bolts, whatever, and continue on getting that out. Once we get that out and everything, we can start drilling on this firewall. Probably need to pull the motor as an assembly, drop it down, slide it out, and then be able to work. So that's a game plan. You're talking probably a week or two to get that done.